Well, hello there. It's Bill Ricardi, author of Living Cheaply in the UK, and today I'm going to be making a Pavlova. It's much cheaper to make them at home than it is to buy them in the store, so let's begin. We start with two bowls. One of these bowls is for egg whites, and the other is for egg yolks. Pavlovas only use the whites. So, I have my trusty eggs here. I'm going to be using 4 medium eggs in this particular case. We are shooting for 120 grams of egg whites, so I've went ahead and put this on my little scale here. If you don't have a scale like this, find some other way to measure it. You're looking for about 120 grams. You take the egg, crack it as cleanly in half as you can, okay? And then use the 2 halves of the shell to get out all of the white, while retaining as much of the yolk as possible in the other half. Then throw the egg away. Remove any bits of shell that might have gotten in there, and move on to the next egg. Again, the white should pretty much fall off of the yolk, and the yolk should not be split. Check for shells. Move on to the next. Okay, between the last take and this take, I've done some important steps. First, I've put away my egg yolks. I'm going to be using those later tonight for a breaded pork dish that I'm doing. The second thing I did was put away the eggs. I have started to thaw out my frozen fruit. You can use fresh fruit if you want. Frozen is fine. I've done that in a little bit of sugar water so I can actually make a syrup out of it later. And this will be going on top of the Pavlova. And I've started to preheat the oven to 130 degrees. If you have a fan-assisted oven, you might have to adjust that a little bit, downwards usually for fan-assisted, but anywhere between 130 and 140 degrees is generally what you want to set the oven at. And now I have to bring these to a soft peak before I start putting in the caster sugar. I started off manually, but I just don't have the manpower to bring it to a soft peak without a little bit of mechanical assistance. So I'm going to go in here with my mixer now. As you can see, it's really pumping the air in there, and it will soon be at a soft peak. Stop it right there. It's at the point now, nice and foamy, where I can start to add the caster sugar. Okay, so I have added to this little bowl the contents of 1 vanilla pod. That is the blacker stuff that's in there. A couple of pinches of cornstarch, which is important for kind of firming up the whole process, and 200 grams of caster sugar. I also have on hand a little bit of cider vinegar, which I put a few drops in later in the process. The important thing to note is that this all has to go in very, very finely. Okay? So, as gently as possible, I'm going to start the process. combining the sugar and the egg whites. Getting there. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of the vinegar for the final part of the process. Just a couple of little drops here. There we go. And that is nice and shiny. Look at that. Not moving around very much, as you can see. It's what's supposed to be, pretty firm. And that is about it for that part of the process. And I've cleaned up the beaters. Now, what I want to do is take this mixture and slowly put it into a baking pan that is lined with grease-proof paper. It's really trying to get out here, but as you can imagine, it's very, very sticky, very, very firm. And there we go. Now, you're going to kind of spread this around so the outsides create a little tiny bowl. Push the paper right down in there. You want it slightly larger on the outside or slightly taller on the outside than it is on the inside. That's not going to be perfect, nothing ever is, but just kind of push all that to the outside as much as possible. As you can see, it does form a slight bowl in here. It should pretty much hold its shape. That is so that you have something to put your fruit on and it doesn't just roll away or what have you. Set that right there. There we go. Look at that. Now this can finish just defrosting right here on the kitchen counter. It's already pretty much defrosted. But more importantly, I've got this beautiful syrup. Now I can reduce that on the heat and use that if I wanted to as a syrup on top of the meringue that we're making here to top the pavlova with kind of a fruity sauce. Once the timer for the pavlova goes off, we're going to shut the oven off, but then we're just going to crack it open and leave it to cool in the oven itself. It's going to be a slow, gradual cool. You're going to check the pavlova and see if it is very slightly brown around the edges. You know, kind of an autumn, just very faintly brown. If it's not, give it 5 more minutes and check it again. No more than 75 minutes though. That is the maximum you want at between 130 and 140. Okay. This sauce has reached a point where I want to add just a wee bit of honey. Now, the honey I have is actually crystallized, but that's fine. Some people look at crystallized honey and they're like, Oh goodness, it's gone off. It's just about pure sugar. It's never really going to go off. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with honey that has been crystallized. It will melt just fine. Okay? And as I melt that, I'm also going to add just a few pinches of granulated sugar. Like so. And as you hear again, that was the extra 5 minutes for the Pavlova. And as you can see, this sauce has reduced very, very well. I have, turned the heat off, just let it kind of simmer. And I'm not going to take it off the heat so it can cool down in time with the Pavlova. Just like so. Oh yes. I'm just going to take this out really quick to show you what it looks like. This might need another, couple of minutes, but it's done to my satisfaction, really. I'm not that much of a stickler. As you can see, the Pavlova is a beautiful kind of eggshell texture. Tiny wee bit cracked there, but not so bad. Here, I'll get you in for a closer look. That's kind of what it should look like, just very slightly brown, not white anymore, and just like so. Now, I don't want to give it the shock of cooling down on the counter, so I'm just going to leave the oven slightly open and let it cool down naturally like so. I got my berries ready to top it, and I got my sauce waiting over here, so it's just a matter of time. Just going to wait until this cools down. And here we are with the finished Pavlova. I put a sprinkling of sugar on the top, and then I added my berries just as such. And the final 2 steps are just to put another layer of sugar on top here. Just a wee bit of icing sugar to top it off. Again, some people have already made themselves some nice heavy whipped cream, and that works as well. It just depends on your taste. Not feeling in a whipped cream mood right now. Just feel like a little bit of sugar. And that wonderful reduction that we made, the juices of the fruits, as you can see, it's nice and thick now. Comes off almost like jam. And we're just going to drizzle that around the outside. Let that flow inward. Just like so. That's going to give a nice character. Let it run down the sides, doesn't really matter. It'll cool down, solidify. And there you have it. That is how you make a Pavlova. Not as complex as some of you might have thought, and probably a little more complex than others. But when you make it at home, A, it's cheaper, of course. It's our mantra. But B, it's more customized. It's however you want it. If you want to be more sugary, you can add more sugar. If you want to be, a little bit more tangy, don't add the sugar. Add more tangy fruits. It's entirely up to you. How sharp, how sweet, everything is controlled by you when you make it at home. So not only have we saved you money, but your palate will thank you as well. This is Bill Ricardi, author of Living Cheaply in the UK. Just a reminder to visit me on my website at www.billricardi.com and check out my book, Living Cheaply in the UK. It's available on the Kindle, or you can download a free Kindle reader and read it on your PC. All this can be done at Amazon.com. Thank you so much and have a good day.